Picture a cloudy pond. The more you stir it, trying to see the bottom, the murkier it becomes. Only when you stop and allow the water to settle does clarity emerge. This Zen parable perfectly illustrates the backwards law, a principle that can bring clarity to your life's murkiest challenges. The backwards law, coined by philosopher Alan Watts, suggests that the more you pursue something, the more you push it away. Have you ever noticed how chasing happiness often leads to frustration, or how trying to fall asleep keeps you awake? These are the backwards law in action. Understanding this principle can transform your approach to life's challenges. Instead of constantly striving, what if you learn to let go? The results might surprise you. Are you ready to explore a new way of thinking that could unlock the contentment you've been seeking? Before we dive deeper, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us share more wisdom with the world. Now let's uncover the power of the backwards law together. The paradox of pursuit. What if everything you've been taught about achieving your goals is actually holding you back? This paradox lies at the heart of the backwards law, a principle that challenges our deepest assumptions about success and happiness. As we explore this revolutionary approach to life, prepare to turn your world upside down. Think about the last time you desperately wanted something. Maybe it was a promotion at work, a romantic relationship, or a good night's sleep. The more you focused on it, the more it seemed to slip away. This frustrating experience is the backwards law in action, and it's more common than you might think. Mark Manson, a popular author and thinker, puts it bluntly: pursuing something only reinforces the fact that you lack it in the first place. This statement hits hard, doesn't it? It suggests that our very desire for wealth, success, or happiness might be the very thing keeping us from achieving it. But why does this happen? To understand, we need to look at human nature itself. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer introduced the concept of the will to live, suggesting that human beings are driven by an irrational, continuous striving that causes suffering and dissatisfaction. In other words, we're wired to want more, even when we don't need it. Schopenhauer goes further, stating, "Every keen pleasure is an error and an illusion, for no attained wish can give lasting satisfaction." How many times have you achieved a goal only to find that the joy was fleeting? The promotion you worked so hard for, the new car you saved up for, they brought a momentary high, but soon became the new normal. This constant pursuit of external achievements often stems from a sense of lack. The more we focus on what we don't have, the more we reinforce feelings of inadequacy. It's like trying to fill a bottomless pit. No matter how much we throw in, it never seems enough. Let's consider a common scenario. You're lying in bed, tossing and turning, desperately trying to fall asleep. The harder you try, the more awake you feel. Your mind races, thinking about how tired you'll be tomorrow, which only increases your anxiety. This is the backwards law at work. The more you pursue sleep, the more it eludes you. Or think about the pursuit of happiness. How often have you told yourself, "I'll be happy when you get that job, lose 10 pounds, or find the perfect partner?" But happiness isn't a destination. By constantly chasing it, we're pushing it further away. So, what's the solution? It might sound counterintuitive, but the answer often lies in letting go. Instead of constantly striving, what if we learned to accept the present moment? What if we focused on the process rather than the outcome? This doesn't mean giving up on your goals or settling for less. Instead, it's about changing your approach. Rather than fixating on what you lack, appreciate what you have. Instead of forcing yourself to sleep, relax, and let sleep come naturally. Instead of chasing happiness, find joy in the journey itself. The backwards law teaches us that true contentment often comes from accepting the present moment and letting go of our relentless pursuit of external goals. It's about finding balance, setting intentions without becoming overly attached to outcomes. The art of letting go. Now picture yourself floating effortlessly in water. The moment you tense up and try to fight it, you start to sink. Could this simple metaphor hold the secret to navigating life's challenges? Let's explore how relaxation might be your most powerful tool for success. Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to suppress a thought, the more it persists? It's like telling yourself not to think about a pink elephant. Suddenly, that's all you can think about. This phenomenon illustrates a profound truth about human nature. Our efforts to control our thoughts and feelings often backfire. This is where the art of letting go comes into play. It's not about giving up or being passive. Rather, it's about accepting what is, including our negative experiences. Counterintuitive as it may seem, this acceptance can lead to positive outcomes. Consider loneliness, for example. When we resist feeling lonely, we often end up feeling more isolated and miserable. But what happens when we accept our loneliness? We might find peace in solitude, opening up new possibilities for self-discovery and growth. The same principle applies to many areas of life. Take insomnia, for instance. The more you try to force yourself to sleep, the more elusive sleep becomes. But when you accept that you're awake and stop fighting it, you create the natural conditions for sleep. This idea aligns with ancient wisdom. Lao Tzu, the Chinese philosopher, suggested that accepting our imperfections leads to a sense of completeness. It's not about striving for perfection, but embracing our whole selves, flaws and all. So how can we practice this art of letting go in our daily lives? Start by observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you notice yourself resisting an experience, gently remind yourself to accept it. This doesn't mean you have to like it. It's just that you're willing to acknowledge its presence. Another powerful practice is to focus on the present moment. Often, our struggles come from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. By bringing your attention to the here and now, you naturally let go of these mental projections. Remember, acceptance doesn't mean resignation. You can still work towards your goals and aspirations. The difference is in your approach. Instead of tensing up and forcing outcomes, you learn to move with the flow of life, like a skilled surfer riding the waves. This approach can transform your relationship with challenges. Instead of seeing them as obstacles to be overcome, you might start to view them as opportunities for growth. Each difficulty becomes a chance to practice acceptance and deepen your understanding of yourself and the world. As you embrace this practice, you might find yourself experiencing more peace and contentment, not because your external circumstances have changed, but because your internal landscape has shifted. You're no longer at war with reality, you're dancing with it. Balancing act, effort, and relaxation. This shift in perspective opens up new possibilities. But how far can it take you? What if the key to unlocking your full potential lies not in trying harder, but in finding the perfect balance between effort and relaxation? You might think embracing the backwards law means entirely giving up on your goals, but that's not the case at all. It's about finding a sweet spot between striving and letting go. Imagine achieving your dreams without the usual stress and struggle. Does that sound too good to be true? Let's explore how this delicate balance can transform your life. Think of it like surfing. A skilled surfer doesn't fight against the waves. Instead, they work with them, finding the perfect harmony between effort and flow. This is the essence of balancing effort with relaxation. It's not about abandoning your goals, but approaching them with a sense of ease and naturalness. So how does this apply to your daily life? Let's look at work, for example. Instead of pushing yourself to exhaustion, try setting clear intentions and allowing yourself to enter a flow state. This is where you're fully immersed in the task, neither forcing nor resisting. You might be surprised at how much more productive and creative you become when you're not constantly straining. The same principle applies to relationships. Rather than trying to control every aspect of your interactions, allow space for natural connections to form. Be present, be authentic, but release the need for a specific outcome. You might find that your relationships deepen and flourish when you're not constantly trying to steer them in a particular direction. This balance is crucial even in personal growth. Instead of berating yourself for not being good enough, accept where you are while gently nurturing your potential. It's like tending a garden. You plant the seeds and provide the right conditions, but you don't pull on the plants to make them grow faster. Many successful individuals have applied this principle in their lives. Take Bruce Lee, for example. He famously said, "Be water, my friend." This philosophy embodied his approach to martial arts and life. Fluid, adaptable, and in harmony with his surroundings. He achieved greatness not through rigid control, but through a balance of discipline and spontaneity. Or consider the approach of mindfulness expert Jon Kabat-Zinn. He teaches that mindfulness isn't about trying to make your mind blank or force relaxation. It's about being present with whatever arises without judgment. This acceptance paradoxically leads to greater calm and clarity. Now you might wonder, does this mean we should avoid challenges? Not at all. Embracing challenges is a key part of personal growth. The difference is in how we approach them. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles to be overcome, view them as opportunities for learning and expansion. When you face difficulties with an open and relaxed mindset, you're more likely to find creative solutions and grow from the experience. Remember, the backwards law doesn't mean you stop putting in effort. It's about changing the quality of that effort. Instead of pushing against life, you learn to move with it. It's like the difference between swimming upstream and going with the flow. You're still moving, but with much less struggle. As you practice this balance, you might notice a shift in how you feel about your goals. Rather than being sources of stress and anxiety, they become exciting possibilities. You're no longer driven by a lack or fear of failure, but by genuine enthusiasm and curiosity. Embracing life's mystery. As we've explored the backwards law, we've uncovered a powerful truth. Often, the key to success lies in letting go. Instead of constantly striving, we find peace in acceptance. This shift from relentless pursuit to mindful presence can transform our lives in unexpected ways. Remember, life isn't a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Alan Watts reminds us that the mystery of life isn't meant to be unraveled, but embraced. When we stop trying to control every aspect of our existence, we open ourselves to the beauty and wisdom surrounding us. So, what would change if you stopped fighting against life's currents and started flowing with them? How might your world transform if you embraced uncertainty instead of fearing it? As you move forward, carry this wisdom with you. Let it guide you toward a life of greater ease, joy, and fulfillment.